Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. Tuesday, before Thanksgiving. You know what that means? It's time for another episode of your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of Eddie Cool, aka the HOC up in this thing. And of course, I have two of the best co-hosts in the world because you know I can't do it by myself. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? All I got to say is this. We're going to talk about a lot of other things because, that's the meat and potatoes of our program. But the World Cup. The World Cup, we've been waiting 4 years for this. United States, come on, man. 1-1 tie against Wales. We're supposed to handle this one. This was our game to handle. It is what it is, but, man, it's all the hype. Friday, Black Friday, England is going down. Eddie Cool, go ahead and introduce that other guy that pretends he doesn't like soccer and he's going to say something silly and sing something. Go ahead and introduce him.
And the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, also the assistant athletic director at the Trinity High School, the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
Falling in love again, never wanted to. What am I to do? I can't help it. I got some news to share with you guys. This little falling in love thing I got here. If you are not familiar with us, if this is the first time joining us, the three of us get together and talk sports once a week. All week long, we're texting each other and sharing personal information and having fun. We become like family the last couple of years, like bros. So these guys didn't know that I was about to do this, but I wanted to share something personal because I think all of us kind of at one point hope to find that special someone you care about and develop feelings for. And I wanted to tell you guys, I think I'm getting there. I see him every Sunday. His name is Micah. He's very good at chasing the quarterback. He wears number 11.
I knew this was going to be so stupid.
And I am developing some very serious feelings. He went to Penn State. He's dreamy. He's wonderful, and I am now smitten. I am in a full-fledged crush with Micah, my boo. Woo!
40-3.
The bounce back happened.
CBS smooth switched the game, turned it off. Made me out to be a complete liar about the Minnesota Vikings. Man, Eddie Cool, can we just go ahead and get into it?
All right, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. We're talking about football, of course, and everything that is going on in the world of the National Football League. And around this time of the year, it's turkey time, it's Thanksgiving. And, as we approach Thanksgiving, this is the time where teams really start to separate themselves from the contenders and the pretenders. What teams are we seeing as the most legitimate contenders? And what teams do we think are fizzling out towards the end of the season? As this playoff picture starting to round in the form. Scottie D, who's contending and who's fizzling?
Well, the AFC has what I consider to be the best four quarterbacks in the league: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. That seems to be a very strong core, but I still think, like I said at the beginning, I think it's going to come down to the Chiefs and Bills and the quarterback play. And a month ago, I would have said the Bills are going to the Super Bowl, but right now the Chiefs are rounding into peak form. They look really, really solid. And it's not surprising. This is a core of players that have been together for the past couple of years. The big question is, can the Bills get their act together and get into Kansas City and win there in January? And right now I would have to say no, just because the Chiefs look so good. Now, a lot can happen between now and then. I mean, it is only Thanksgiving, but I don't think the Chiefs are going to get caught off guard by the Bengals or somebody like that this year. I don't think one of these upstart teams are going to surprise them. I think the Chiefs have regained their focus. The NFC, we're looking at what quarterback do you trust to get you to the promised land? Dak, Kirk Cousins, Jalen Hurts. I mean, these are your top teams. And I tell you guys, if I didn't know any better, if I didn't recognize the uniforms, the blue stars on the helmets, the Cowboys would be the team I'm saying right now. Because what they did in Minnesota on Sunday, they went to a team that was a top in the NFC in their house, and they did what everybody says you have to do to win games. They controlled the clock with the football, they ran the football, and they played really good defense. And that running the ball, the offensive line play, the offensive line was outstanding in Minnesota on Sunday. That sets up Dak Prescott to be more comfortable in the pocket, running off a play action. Do I trust it? Man, I'm afraid to trust it because I've seen 27 years of getting excited this time of year only to have the rug pulled out from under me in January. But the thing is, do I trust Minnesota, Philadelphia? Does Tom Brady turn around with Tampa? I mean, it just seems like the quarterback play in the NFC is a huge question mark. So let's go Cowboys. I mean, it just I'm coming off of what's hot off the press because this time last week I felt terrible with what I saw with Dak throwing picks, the defense blowing a lead. But that was a really solid bounce back effort. And if that team plays like that, if Micah Parsons goes off like he did on Sunday, and Tony Pollard, who's actually looking at this point like a bona fide star, if you get that kind of production out of them in that offensive line, they are really going to be hard to beat in January, despite Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. Be live.
I'm the Cowboys. Which Dallas Cowboy team are you going to get?
Yeah.
Because that Cowboy team that faced the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to say this on the air. Scott, I swear for everything known to man, do not run off like you normally do with things I say. That Cowboy team that played the Vikings Sunday, that's a Super Bowl winning team. That is a Super Bowl winning team. Now, can they do it when it counts?
Exactly.
That's it. Can they do it 3 times in January? Can they? That's the $1 million question. I'm looking forward to the Cowboys-Eagles game, the second go-round. We'll see a lot about that. As far as I'm going to say this. This is weird. If the season ended today, barring what happens, we're recording on Monday, posting on Tuesday, what happens between the 49ers and the Cardinals tonight, do you understand that if the season ended today, the last place team in the AFC North and the AFC East and the NFC East would make it in the playoffs?
The Giants would be in.
Yep.
No, the Commanders would be in. The Washington Commanders.
So the whole division would be in.
The whole
division. Yep.
And both the AFC as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets at 6-4 would make it into the playoffs.
Oh boy, and they don't look like a playoff team after this. That was. You know what's crazy? B-Lab is we were talking in the preseason, and I know you were hot on this. The AFC West, we anticipated being like one of the best divisions we were ever going to see, and it's down to a 2-horse race on that. Yeah.
All kinds of wrong.
Kansas City was running away with that division.
Yeah, they're 3 ahead at this point in time. I mean, that game was excellent between the Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chargers can be, but it's still the Chiefs.
Right.
You left too much time on the clock. I said to you immediately, I was like, that is way too much time for Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, really, their horse to win. The Tennessee Titans, hey, they just keep winning.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting. It's gonna be a good playoff race. I still just think that the it's the Chiefs to win. Buffalo, I don't know. I don't know. I think they need a reliable second option to Stephon Diggs. I just
Davis gets the dropsies a little bit too much, I think.
So I'm not sure. They absolutely need to develop a running game. I don't know how, when, where, or whatever. They have to.
Yeah, they got to commit.
Something's got to give. We thought that. I mean, Josh Allen has the talent, but he can't carry that team throughout the rigors of January without a running. If I was a defensive coordinator in the NFL, guess what, bro? I'm gonna make you run the ball. I'm putting 4 in the box, 7. I'm sitting back on 7. I'm gonna have a linebacker spy. Do what you will. You're gonna have to run the ball. Yep. You're not gonna be able to just chunk and throw and all that. Nah, player.
Yep.
So we're agreeing on the Chiefs then, pretty much. Is that's legit. They're legit.
Yeah. I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with the Chiefs because I'm overlooking at Buffalo, just like B-Live said. What run game, little if any. There's no number 2 wide receiver in Buffalo. Do they look vulnerable? Like, I think teams are really starting to key in, okay, they can run the ball. And if you lock down Gabriel Davis, and try to force him to pass the Diggs all the time, because Diggs, he can't be the man on every play on every down. He could, but he can't.
No, not with NFL defenses.
No.
You're seeing the chinks in the armor. It's Kansas City Chiefs to win. It's going to be a fight in the AFC. The NFC is going to come out of the East. I mean, it's just the North, the South, the West. Forget about it. Just forget about it.
Do you think the Vikings can rebound? You were big on the Vikings.
I think they can rebound. I really think they can rebound. This is what they needed. But here's one thing about the Vikings is that they're going to suffer because of how bad their division is. They're not going to see more talented teams. They get to face the Lions, the Packers, and the Bears twice this year. And
Lions are getting better. They're biting kneecaps.
I apologize. You're right, but it's just so funny to hear that. The Lions, they're 3-game win streak. Are you kidding me right now? The Lions.
Yeah. They're second place in the division at 4-6. And I was watching
the total. That's 4 games behind the Vikings.
Vikings are running away and hiding pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna clinch the division next 3 weeks. But Tampa Bay, it ain't gonna be there. I'm sorry. Tom Brady, just retire. Let it go, bro. I know you got yes. He's got a 2-game win streak. Whoop-de freaking do. This is way too much I just don't. They need a running game too. They're almost in the same boat as the Buffalo Bills. They need a running game. They do not. I don't know what it is that the offensive line is just not holding up, but it's going to wash out. It's going to wash out anyway. We're going to see exactly. Cream always rises to the top. It's going to eventually be between the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Did I strike a nerve when I said
I just know it's just that pressure when the Cowboys start getting looked at. It seems like they get worse. They're better under the radar, and that's rare for America's team to be under the radar. The team that's on TV every week, and Jerry Jones got a microphone in his face every week. It's whenever they start getting rolling, that makes me uncomfortable. I almost wish they had won 20 to 17 on Sunday, then 40-3, because it gets your hopes. And by the way, that was a pretty big game between the Colts and the Eagles, because the Colts had the Eagles dead to rights and let them off the hook late in that game. And had they won that, the Cowboys would have been only a game behind Philly with them coming to town here in a couple of weeks. That completely changed everything by the Colts slipping off the hook. I mean, it was a valiant effort. Again, that was Jeff Saturday's second game. No longer undefeated, Be Live. He's no longer undefeated.
But
And neither Sirianni. So the Eagles have actually looked vulnerable the last 2 weeks. Of course, we jinxed them last week by picking Sirianni as a head coach. And before Eddie Could even published our show, they'd gone out and gotten beat at home by the Commanders. But they suddenly look a little more vulnerable.
I was watching the episode. No, I was watching the game, and I was like, I've been damn. Here we go. Oh,
I'm the one that called it on the show.
Yeah. You did.
I said, why should they make me an entire liar? And sure enough, they did. I'm gonna tell you right now, Joey Buckets, my man. I'm rooting for the Taylor pop a bottle Heineke, and the Washington Redskins no-name football team Commanders. I'm rooting for them. Guess what they're adding to their roster in a week or two, maybe. Chase Young is, man. You know that they could absolutely wreck shop right now. The team is playing inspired football behind Ron Rivera and Taylor Heineke. Sorry, Carson Wentz. They just look better with Heineke. And
they do.
Ron Rivera's got that little swag. He's like, you don't even have to play good. You just have to not make mistakes. Yeah. We got this. I like their swagger. Man, I'm rooting for them just because I want absolute complete chaos. Because there's one place there's absolute complete chaos, and you know how much I very much thrive on that. I'll leave it at that, gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's absolute chaos. Like I'm over looking at the NFC South, and I'm like, okay, the Falcons they gonna make some noise. They ain't gonna do nothing. I think the Seahawks might hit the wall because the Seahawks next game. Well, actually, no, their next game is against the Raiders, so that's another W. Let's see. The Rams are done. They're just done. They don't have it together. I don't see the Rams doing anything this year. Anything just from here to the last game of the season, they're not doing nothing. They're not doing anything at all. So who do you think the team is pretenders falling apart at the seams, if you will?
The Giants,
yep.
I think. That was a bad loss for them. I know we just got done saying Detroit's improving. That was a bad loss for them. And not going too far up the road is the Jets coming back down to earth. They lost a game that nobody scored in until the last 5 seconds of the game or whatever. Somebody sent me a message today, said that in the second half, the Jets averaged 2.77 inches per play. I mean, that's a pretty lousy day. And by the way, did you guys watch the end? I'm sure you saw the highlights of New England on that game-winning punt return. One of the Patriot teammates came out of nowhere and threw a block in the back that didn't get called, but it was completely unnecessary. Like, why would you even risk doing that? Special teams players, I say it over and over again, you guys are the dumbest people going. You're like restaurant hostesses. You just can't think for yourself. Just don't touch the guy. If you see the name, you just don't touch it. I mean, it could have cost his team the game right then and there, and it didn't get called. It wasn't egregious, but it was enough to give a referee cause to reach and grab that yellow flag, and he didn't. But anyway, I think the Jets and Giants both are kind of on the fading off the branch a little bit.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's gonna get called back. No, he literally he had two hands on his back, like diamond press, boom, on his back, and I was like, come on, man, you should just threw your hands up. There was no way in the world that he was gonna catch him. Like, what are you doing?
No, he's about to score. He's like on the 5-yard line when it happened. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like that. There's no way in the world. All right, and before we go to the Be Live top 5, we got a special edition of football. We got the World Cup Minute with the money man, Scottie D. Take it away, Scottie D.
All right, because I'm a big fan of soccer, we're going to do just a quick money minute here. I'm going to help you win some money by giving you a couple predictions. So on Wednesday, we have at 5 a.m. Croatia and Morocco. Take the under. Morocco's a defensive team. Croatia kind of also a defensive team. Take the under. 8 a.m. Germany and Japan. Take the under. 11 a.m. Spain and Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very strong defensive team. I think Spain also plays pretty good defense. Take the under. And Belgium and Canada at 2 p.m. Belgium is favored. I say take the under. And in the whole thing, take Germany to win the whole thing. I got them over Manchester United. And that was the Money Man Minute for the World Cup.
Thank you, Scottie D, for the Money Man Minute as far as concerning the World Cup. Be Live, you okay, man? You all right?
What the hell was that?
We have to acknowledge the World Cup. It's 4 years, only once every 4 years. It's really exciting. I'm just helping everyone to win a few bucks here. Take the under.
We spent all this week talking about how we were going to trim the show down.
We just did 1 minute.
We're going to be more disciplined about what we. Germany over Manchester United.
That's who I got my money on.
For those people that are listening that actually do enjoy the sport, just disregard all of that.
No good? You don't like Germany win all?
Oh, God. Is Germany even in the World Cup?
Play Japan at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. I'll already have been up from watching Croatia and Morocco at 5 a.m. So I'm going to go right on into that and take the rest of the day off for it.
Just cut. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this today.
And now the Be Live Top 5.
Yep, and back to some American football, college football. We're going to give Be Live a few minutes to get itself together. When we return, it'll be the Be Live Top 5 right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
I hate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, beans, greens, tomatoes, pickles, turkeys, ratchet, you name it. This is the Be Live Top 5.
Y'all know what time it is. It's simple. Y'all know what week it is. It's rivalry week. Woo! Everything is on the line. And this makes my Be Live Top 5 very simple. It's going to be slightly different than what I've been doing the past few weeks. Coming in at number 5, you see it on the jersey. You see it. I'm wearing it loud and I'm proud about it. I got Clemson back in the top 5, and I will discuss it with you just a little bit later. I want to go ahead and throw in here real quick. The Palmetto Bowl is in full effect. The reason why Clemson is, partly the reason why Clemson is in the top 5 is because of that other team that's located in South Carolina putting a shellacking on number 5 Tennessee, 63-38. Don't be so mean to them. Hey, the game chickens, the coots. But I'm gonna tell you something real quick. Clemson has a defense. Tennessee does not. So don't even think for a second you'll come in to Death Valley and score 63 points. I don't think so. But let me get back into it real quick. Clemson comes in at number 5. Number 4. The University of Southern California. The real USC comes in at number 4. You're probably wondering, well, how is Clemson number 5, USC number 4? I feel like, Be Live, you might be missing some teams. Let me get to that.
Yes.
Southern Cal has a ranked matchup against Notre Dame this week. And then most likely a ranked matchup between, I think it's either Oregon or you know, it's most likely going to be Oregon, but it's not been settled just yet. But it's going to be a ranked battle, 2 ranked battles, one against Notre Dame, one for the Pac-12 championship. Should get them in. Win, and they're in. Number 3, TCU. TCU coming in, still undefeated. By the hairs of my chinny chin chin. They're still undefeated, but they did not show any dominance in that game, but they're still undefeated. You have to respect that. And if they remain undefeated through the Big 12 championship, win, and they're in. Number 2, you're wondering, there should be 3 teams left, but you're at number 2, Be Live. Why? How, Sway? Because the number 2 team in the country is going to be determined by what it is dubbed D-Game. Ohio State versus Michigan. Whoever wins that game will be number 2. Win and you're in, lose and you're out. It is what it is. There's not going to be no back way into it, being a one-loss team that didn't even make it to their conference championship. I just don't see it. It could happen, but I just think against a one-loss or even an undefeated conference champion, it's just not going to happen. I think that Southern Cal, TCU, and Clemson will be over whoever loses that game, especially if it's Michigan, because Michigan's only faced one ranked opponent the entire year. Ohio State's played two ranked opponents. Just look at their resume. Look at their strength of schedule. The Big Ten is not that strong, top heavy. Whoever they face in the Big Ten championship is going to have at least 3 losses. This ain't gonna do it. So whoever wins between Ohio State and Michigan, Ohio State and that team up north, whatever way they want to say it, however way, it's gonna be nasty, it's gonna be ugly, and everything is on the line. We're at number 2. Number 1 is Georgia. Georgia could win or lose in the SEC championship. They'll still be here. That's going to disrupt everything. But I think that Georgia's going to just go ahead and brush off LSU to the side. If LSU wins against Georgia, LSU would just kick a lot of people out. So guess what? Your boy, the Almighty Be Live, I'm rooting for Notre Dame, I'm rooting for Iowa State, and I'm rooting for Georgia in the SEC championship game. Ohio State, Michigan, it don't even matter. Do what you got to do. When you're in, loser is just out. I said what I said. Be live, top 5. Oh, I just need TCU or Southern Cal to lose. Because Georgia eliminates LSU. If TCU or Southern Cal lose one game, they're out. And Ohio State, Michigan will eliminate. And right now in the AP poll, Clemson sits at number 7. Clemson wins. They're in with the help of a friend of mine. Come on, Iowa State. Come on, Kansas State. Come on, Notre Dame. Come on, Georgia. Just do what you're supposed to do. All right.
If all those teams win, doesn't that kind of reopen the door for Alabama to slide up into the top 4?
It absolutely does not.
Really?
If all of them win, if all of them lose, like if here's the thing, Georgia has to win for it. Like Georgia has to win for any of these other teams to have a chance. Right now, Southern Cal, TCU, they sit in the driver's seat. Ohio State, Michigan, whoever wins that, they're in. Period. They literally could also lose in the big, but that I think that would solidify enough that they would be in. I don't see them losing to whoever would. I think it's between Iowa and Purdue in the Big Ten West. So,
well, you've already kicked one team out of the top 5 that on a game that hasn't been played yet. But if TCU loses and USC loses and Georgia holds serve against LSU, that could open the door for Alabama to storm right back up into the top 4 or 5.
Alabama won't make it in as a 2-loss non-conference champion person over a 1-loss. That would open the door for the loser of Ohio State, Michigan to get in. They will not drop. They will not drop Ohio State or Michigan below Alabama. Alabama has 0 chance as a 2-loss team without being in there. Yeah, that would open the door for Ohio State and Michigan, the loser of that game, to get in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
but Alabama that's also based on conference championships. If all that stuff happened and then Ohio State went out and lost, or TCU lost in their championship, I'm not 100% Alabama's out.
Let's put it this way. All right,
I mean, it's a long shot.
I'll give you this. All right. Alabama gets in if all of the following happens. Georgia has to win in the SEC championship, period. Point blank. They have to win. If they lose, they're knocking everybody down because Georgia's still gonna be it. Whoever whoever wins the Big Ten championship has to lose I'll say whoever wins Ohio State, Michigan has to lose.
Would have to lose in the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
Right.
They'd have to lose. TCU would have to lose a game. Southern Cal would have to lose a game. That would leave the door open. If all of that happened, it would be Georgia number 1. You would put whoever Ohio State. That's still
Clemson could move up to 2 if all that happened.
Yeah, Clemson would move up to number 2.
And Alabama will be right behind them with a Big Ten. Well, I mean, if a Big Ten team takes 2 losses, yeah, I mean, it's a long shot. There are a lot of things that have to happen, but it's not out of the question because at this point, Alabama cannot get in the SEC championship. Correct?
No,
it's done.
It's LSU, Georgia, yeah.
Right. So that means once they beat Auburn, they're going to be sitting with 2 losses regardless. They won't accumulate another loss, and that's worked in their favor before, if I'm not mistaken, a few years back where they were not in the championship game, didn't take a loss, and moved into the top 4.
That was 2017 that happened.
Okay, wow. I thought that it had happened one time before though.
It did happen where Alabama did not make it into the SEC championship, but they were dominant the entire season. They lost to Auburn, and I think Auburn went to the championship against. Can't remember this point. Neither here nor there.
Might have been LSU in law, but regardless, I know I understand what you're saying. It's not unprecedented. It has happened.
But yeah, it would take a lot, but at the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed. I think the only thing that could possibly be guaranteed is Georgia, but unless Georgia loses to both Georgia Tech and LSU, that's probably not happening. Georgia could lose.
I don't see that.
Georgia, see, here's the problem again. I swear for everything. And I'm gonna say it like I said last year. Georgia has 0 incentive to win the SEC championship, just like they did last year.
Well, I think a lot of those kids want to be champions. They're gonna want to be the SEC champions. So I don't 100% agree with them not having any incentive. I know there's a bigger prize that they're going after down the line, but I still think you want to win a conference championship in the Georgia Dome, correct? Isn't that where they'll be playing? I mean, you got to be.
It'd be more conference money because if LSU does beat Georgia, just the way everything's set up, they're probably going to get in, and you're going to have 2 teams from the SEC making it into the playoff. Nobody wants to see that. I don't even understand why this is even a conversation. If LSU makes it into the playoff with 2 losses and Clemson doesn't make it in with 1 loss, and Clemson beat the team that LSU lost to, SEC bias. But
you're getting yourself worked up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this real quick before we change the channel here. Who you got Saturday? Ohio State or Michigan?
Ooh,
Ohio State.
Yeah,
Blake Corum's not going to be 100%.
I agree. I know Michigan has other good running backs, but I think being at Ohio State, the home field advantage is going to rule the day.
Yeah, it will. And then the weather going to be decent. It won't be like it was this past weekend because, boy, this weather was something else.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen exactly the extent of Blake Corum's injury?
When I saw it happen, I didn't think it looked like the worst thing that I'd ever seen. I was surprised that it took him down the way it did. I know he actually came back and played a couple plays later, and really couldn't give it a go, but he tried. But it wasn't like I didn't like for instance when Ezekiel Elliott's knee buckled backwards last month. That looked bad. And if Zeke's foot would have been planted on the ground, he'd have been out for the year. But he had that bad hyperextension. I didn't see anything that looked like a terrible, like eye closing, head turning kind of injury. But
yeah, something gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right. With that being said, it's been another edition of the Be Live Top 5, the Rivalry Week Conference Championship edition. Looking at my rollie, which I ain't got. It's about that time. Guess what time it is, fellas?
What time you got?
What you got? What you got going on?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. This time once again for the favorite portion of our show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it and cook that turkey. Choices of the voices.
Wow.
Coming right at you. It's from a place of love, Button. I promise. I promise. Choices of the voices coming right up.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask you a question, you give us the answer, and we talk about it, and we even put our 2 cents in here, right here on the Sports Bros podcast. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, last week we were coming off the high of that Bills-Vikings game and that incredible catch that we saw by Justin Jefferson that saved the game and extended the opportunity for the Vikings to go on and complete the comeback. That catch, which people are still talking about a week later, was one of the greatest we've ever seen. And we asked you to compare it. Did you think that was the most impressive catch compared to, actually, and it was down to 2. It was a this or that one. Everybody followed the rules. But either that catch, did you think, was that more impressive, or the one-handed grab by Odell Beckham back in November 2014 against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football in Jerry World? And again, not everybody followed directions. This wasn't like the greatest catch of all time. This was just between these two because they were both similar one-handed catches in clutch situations. And Eddie Cool, what did the people say?
All right, let's go. Let's get right into it. Corey Turner said Odell had the harder and better catch. The ball was behind him, and he made it one-handed. He caught the ball one hand, which he did. So that's that. Corey Turner says that's one for Odell. The best name in the game, JoJo Comfort. He says, I would have to say Double J's catch was the more spectacular of the two. Don't get me wrong. OBJ's catch was amazing, but the defensive back had hands on Justin Jefferson on JJ's catch, and he literally fought the defensive back one-handed down to the ground. Also, this may neither be here nor there, but if Justin Jefferson doesn't make that catch, it's game over. This catch redefines the word clutch. I agree. All right. Move right along. Terrible Pete Delansky. He says, for me, it's a no-brainer. I'll take OBJ's catch. The Hall of Famer himself.
Giants fan. Giants fan.
Homer pick. All right. The Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Maxie, says the catch by Odell Beckham Jr. was one of the most magnificent grabs I've ever seen. All right, with that being said, shout out to Corey, JoJo Comfort, Terrible Pete Talansky, and Uncle Max for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. The rest of y'all found your way into the penalty box.
And allow me to elaborate on those people that are in the penalty box. Because the way that the money man, Scottie D, worded it was that he asked, was the catch by Justin Jefferson more incredible than the one catch made by Odell Beckham Jr. in Dallas a few years back? Tell us what you think about those 2 catches. They're pictured. He just asked about those 2 catches. He did not ask anywhere in there about what you thought was the best catch of all time. Nobody asked that. At no point of time. So all of y'all that decide to go a different route, and it goes as follows.
Julian Edelman.
Corey Loughran. Penalty box.
You got a damn thing to do with
it. Joel Turner. My man. We love you here.
To death,
penalty box.
Get in there.
Matty Ice, Martin Tracy. Man, come on, bro. Penalty box.
He talking about baseball.
Rambus. My man Rambus. My bowling partner Rambus. Penalty box. Nobody asked you all that.
Juju got beat up.
Terrible Pete Talansky.
He did answer.
He did answer, but he encouraged bad behavior. Did you see how many different comments he made? I'm sorry. Your one good answer does not negate 17 bad answers. You encourage bad behavior. Penalty box.
Stirring 75 pots. And
Kelly White, I love you to death. That's my home girl. She don't even follow sports that much, but she follows me because I follow her. Shit show karaoke is phenomenal. But you and your Christmas loving heathen self starting to decorate Christmas on November 1st you're in a penalty box. You're not gonna get away with it on this show that I'm a part of. So all of y'all enjoy your time in the penalty box because we didn't ask you for all of that. Read the question and answer the question accordingly. Yes, sir. All right, cool. Eddie, cool. You can have it back. All right, let's have it.
We didn't even have Trey with a Dak answer this week. He stays out of the penalty box.
Yeah, something missing. Yeah, he's on ice skating, and they're in there fighting. Was it Mike Platinum Perry or whatever that guy name is? And
Yeah,
Bob Kraft and Yarmir Yager's mullet and all that fun stuff. Scottie D, what's your readers on? The better catch, Odell Beckham Jr. or Justin Jefferson?
as much as I hate to say it, I got to go with Odell Beckham. And it happened against my team, but as I mentioned last week, that Justin Jefferson catch wouldn't have happened had the defender actually knocked it away. He actually kind of assisted him. He actually helped keep the ball held in place for Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson's catch ended up resulting in a victory. That didn't happen with Odell Beckham. The Cowboys did ultimately win the game that night, but Odell Beckham was actually interfered with, kind of fought off the interference, still reached up and made that incredible play into the end zone. And that was really the coming out party for Odell Beckham Jr. That catch made him famous. I mean, he was doing stuff like this anyway, a little bit more under the radar. And after that, you'd always see, here's Odell before the game, practicing, making a catch, doing this and that. That was a catch that kind of made him famous. And to me, that was a little bit higher on the ladder of like a historic level. Be Live, what say you?
This was tough. This was tough because I tend to agree with both and my man JoJo Comfort, no doubt, what your points were incredibly valid. If he doesn't make that catch, wasn't it like 4th and 18 or something silly like that?
17, yeah.
Absolute clutch. And to come down with the ball like he did, nothing short of incredible. And it led to a victory. You just don't have that. But when it comes to how did Odell Beckham catch that ball? How? It defies laws of gravity and physics, how he contorted his body and caught the ball the way he did. At the end of the day, we're looking at which catch was more incredible. Justin Jefferson's was more clutch, more needed. OBJ's catch was just better. It's one of those things which
very, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's harder catch. And then I'm gonna put myself in the penalty box. George Pickens, man, that catch he had early this season put him on the map. Then got Claypool traded. He's like, I'm the manager. I had to do that again, but and my dude for Notre Dame, I said what I said, but yeah, it's OBJ, but Justin Jefferson, man, it all also hurts the fact that then you turn around and lose 40-3
with 3 catches for 33 yards.
Yeah. No. Dallas, be that Dallas for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
No. Let's not do any of that. No.
You're firing me up, baby.
I take it back immediately. Eddie Cool.
We're gonna beat the Gamecocks. Woo!
Oh, sweet mother of God, we're not doing. No.
Eddie Cool, what you got?
I'm about to get the hell up out of here. No, both catches were clutch, but degree of difficulty, I'm gonna have to give it to OBJ. Like B Live said, it defines the laws of gravity, physics, body contortions. I mean, some of the greatest wide receivers have made a lot of one-handed catch, but that has to be the most heralded one-handed catch. Like you said, the ball was clearly behind him, and he just reached back, grabbed it, and rolled into the end zone, and it became a touchdown. Not taking anything away from Justin Jefferson, who's, I think, his glove and his sleeve are going to Canton, Ohio in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah, they are, actually. Yep. You're right.
Which is pretty damn dope. But I think from a degree, and I mean, you look at, kind of sort of covered versus smothered. But
going to Waffle House or something?
No, I'm talking about the coverage from like the defensive back coverage. That's a good one. You go from barely covered to smothered, and so it's just it's just looking at the two, and it's kind of like, but I would have to say Odell Beckham Jr., man. Like you said, Jojo Comfort made some valid points, but the body contortion, concentration, holding on to the ball, rolling into the end zone, I'm going to have to go with Odell Beckham Jr. I really am. Scottie D, what's on tap next week for Choices of the Voices since you got your readers on?
Okay, we're going to come back in 2 weeks, correct?
Yep, we're coming back in 2 weeks.
Okay, well, happy Thanksgiving then. Eddie's going to be traveling, and we're going to just take the week off to regroup and head in hard to the final stretch of the year into football, final stretch of football seasons. We head into the bowl games and we head into the NFL playoffs. But we're going to take the Monday off a week, so this will be in 2 weeks. And it might be at this point an old question by the time we get to, but I don't care because it's a new question right now. But tell us about one of the most memorable rivalry games that you've ever seen. Could be from any two teams. It might be a memorable Gamecock Clemson game, or a memorable Auburn Alabama game, or a backyard brawl kind of game. Just give us one of your more memorable games in the history of college rivalries, and that'll give us something to talk about in 2 weeks. Eddie Cool.
Poor Savell Newton ain't been the same since. Lord, he just ain't been the same since. Yes, intense rivalries. We want to hear about it 2 weeks from now, right here on the Sports Bowls podcast.
Could be Lafayette and Lehigh. Any good old rivalry game.
Any good old rivalry game. Coming up next, a round of pepper. Blow your nose and be good, all right? Coming up next, right here on the Sports Bros podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard a woman, it's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. Go eat some turkey, stuffing, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkey, ratchet, your name, all that good fun stuff, right? But before we go, we're going to hit you with a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. But you know what? We're going to do something different this time. Each of us are going to tell you 3 things that we are thankful for. It's kind of like a little mini recap in the year of 2022. And I'll go first, all right? I'm thankful for Matt Rule not having a job no longer in Carolina. because despite the Carolina Panthers being 2-4 in their last handful of games, and Christian McCaffrey being gone, and Robbie Anderson, who was a non-factor in day, anyway, he got up out of there too. The Panthers look different. The Panthers are playing some very spirited football, and hashtag keep Steve Wilkes. All right. Scottie D, what you thankful for?
Well, in 2022, I'm thankful for PNC Park because the Pirates are terrible. So if I want to go and enjoy a game of baseball, at least I have a beautiful stadium to sit and watch. The Pirates this past season lost 99 games. The season before they lost 100. Yeah, I guess they improved. It's kind of like last year at the end of the baseball season, I weighed 500 pounds, and this year I weighed 499. I lost a pound. So it's that kind of improvement. Not really much to speak of. Hopefully next year will be better, but this year at least I had that baseball stadium. Be Live, over to you.
I won't be losing any weight this week.
You forget that. That's
here neither.
No, that's out the question.
That ain't here for it. Diets are meant to be broken this week. All right. For my first pepper point for being thankful, I am also thankful for Coach Matt Rule being FIRED. I don't usually wish that on anybody, but he just wasn't it. But I'm also very thankful this past week that I'm glad that my Panthers lost again. I'm thankful that they lost again. So we can get back to what we were supposed to be doing in the first place, which is getting a high draft pick, hopefully a franchise quarterback. I'm still leaning on Will Levis. I said what I said. But I'm also thankful for Agent 89, Steve Smith Sr. He does not like Baker Mayfield, and I'm very thankful that he is very vocal about it. And Steve Smith Sr. just called Baker Mayfield a 3-legged donkey playing quarterback, and that's why any NFL team looking for a free agent quarterback would consider signing him next season.
Wow.
Not a three-legged donkey. Steve Smith Sr., Agent 89. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Pass me that gravy boat. All right. So another thing I'm thankful for in the year of 2022, as you can see in the background, the South Carolina Gamecocks. I'm thankful for my Lady Gamecocks for winning the national championship and giving me a reason to smile day in and day out. Like, you know what? We got the best coach in the world. We got some good players. So let's just keep on building a wonderful tradition here in Columbia, South Carolina, with the women's basketball program. And from the looks of it, the football program, they're trying to do something too, because guess what? We're going bowling. So shout out to the Lady Gamecocks for setting the standard. Here's the mashed potatoes, Scott. Over to you.
Let me sneak in real quick because also,
you just had
while you're rooting for the Lady Gamecocks, they went into an overtime game against Stanford, and number 1 versus number 2 in the country, and the Lady Gamecocks won in overtime. Man, oh man, Don Staley? She is doing her thing in Columbia. I will applaud that. It's good to see something. No, I lied. Just go ahead. Scottie, I'm not thankful for that.
I was not going to stop you. Keep on going.
Scottie D, do your thing, Mike.
I'm thankful in 2022 for Evgeny Malkin for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Malkin on this past Sunday night played his 1,000th game as a Penguin and got a goal in a win over the Chicago Blackhawks. This is a guy who's been a Rookie of the Year. He has been a Hart Memorial Trophy winner, a Conn Smythe Trophy winner, winning the Stanley Cup, and did that 3 times alongside Sidney Crosby. He's been a very important and often overlooked staple in the Penguins lineup since 2007 when he got here. And prior to the game Sunday, his son came to the locker room and read the starting lineup, got emotional. Pretty cool stuff. I think maybe it was the Penguins maybe shouldn't have signed him this year, going in the youth movement, but I'm thankful for him anyway on this day for all the great memories that he's provided the city of Pittsburgh through the years. Evgeny Malkin, number 71. Be Live, over to you.
I am thankful with the second pepper point. I'm very thankful for the Miami Hurricanes and Coach Mario Cristobal. Very thankful because they provided Clemson with a well-needed, dominating victory to show the college football playoff that we are still here. We may have a couple of flaws, but we can put ourselves in the talks of being one of the top 4 teams in the country. So I want to thank Miami, the U, and Mario Cristobal. You'll get there eventually. I'm hoping that you'll get there. But one thing I'm also very thankful for when it comes to Mario Cristobal, he is sick and tired of the BS. He is sick and tired of the parents that want to get on social media and do all this chirping and everything. And he basically said, for all these parents that are on social media and all their criticism and everything, he said a parent is free and welcome to pick up their son if they're not happy with their playing time.
Saw that.
Come pick your child up if you are not happy with their playing time and take them somewhere else. Man, oh man, Mario Cristobal, I am thankful for that quote. That is a quote on top of quotes. He is playing 0 games. Eddie Cool, come get this ball.
All right, come get this ball. Pass some of that fried turkey and make sure it ain't dry, all right? Third and finally, in 2022, I am thankful for Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, for his honesty and his transparency, and most important, him using his coaching abilities to build not only great football players, but great young men as well, too, over in Jackson State University. Like I said, I'm thankful for his transparency because he said earlier this year, if a Power 5 school wants to talk to him, he gonna talk. All right. And so with that being said, Coach Prime, he's currently in talks with Colorado in the University of Central Florida. He has every right to be in talks with them because his Jackson State Tigers are 11-0 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Personally, I don't want Coach Prime to leave. Not at all. Because think about it. Why are you going to trade some decent climate in Jackson State for some cold in Colorado. I get it. It's all about the money. In South Florida, I would have said it too because the weather's nice. But I'm thankful for Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, for his transparency, his honesty, his character, and the tremendous job he's doing at Jackson State University. Scottie D, here's the cornbread.
Thank you. 11-0. Huh? 11-0 for Jackson State. Good for them, guys. That's awesome. I'm thankful for Micah Parsons. Did I mention that? I'm in love with. Never mind. Anyway, just one more thing to stray off the path here is I'm thankful for Dana White, because people give this guy crap all the time, but yet he puts on great fights every month and seemingly every week. And, this gives me and my dad something to do on Saturday nights. We sit and watch fights together. And I'm thankful that I still have my dad after his illness of a couple years ago. And that's something we bond over. We bond over Cowboys games, but, there's only so many of them a year. But Dana White's got me and my dad bonding with great fights almost every Saturday night. I love the UFC. I enjoy the UFC. And I can't wait for the next pay-per-view. And I don't even know who's fighting in it, but I know I love it. And I'm thankful for the Paul brothers. Be Live, over to you.
God. you just love doing it. Third and final pepper point. You know how I like to do things, but I'm going to do it a little bit different when it comes down to Thanksgiving. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us here. The Money Man, Scottie D, the head of creative, Eddie Cool, and myself, the almighty Be Live. We are thankful for each and every one of you that listen and watch our podcast. You give us a reason to continue to talk trash every single week. You give us a reason to study, to look at these games a little bit more than we would normally do. Like, I tell you, I'm inspired by other people that I talk to and I meet on a day-to-day basis. They're like, all right, and they literally ask me, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'm just like, dude, are these people actually looking at me as like a sports personality? It's so enriching. And every time that we come and record, it's fun, and it's much more fun because of each and every one of you. All the way from our youth to Hunter Bowling to our Hall of Famer, Uncle Max. We love each and every one of you. Did I just say Uncle Max is the oldest of the bunch? I might have said that.
Oh boy, you might have just done it.
I had to do it. I'm thankful for all of y'all. We're thankful for all of y'all. We love you.
And get well soon, Uncle Max. I know you're not feeling good, but thank you, buddy. Get well soon, and thank you for listening.
Way to go, Absolutely. Be Live. Yeah, get well soon, Uncle Max. We love you, buddy, and take care. Anything I want to say before we get up out of here?
Thank you, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. You guys, love you. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well.
Same to you, Be Live. Same to you, Scottie D. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They're greatly appreciated now more than ever. It's Thanksgiving. Don't get on everybody's nerves. If you got to go outside and take a walk, do so. Do just that. But other than that, enjoy each other. Scott rubbing his belly. Be Live falling out of the scene. I'm leaning up out of here. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Happy holidays. See you in 2 weeks. Be Live, you know what to do.
Clemson rubbing the rock against South Carolina. It's going down to Palmetto Bowl. We're going for 8 in a row. Oh, my bad. Sorry. My bad.
Yes, sir.
That wasn't it. My bad.
Yes, sir.
No, not that.
At all. Yes, sir.
Much better. Much better. We still going.
CLEMSONTIGERS.
Fight. USC. Go Cox. That's right. Game Cox, baby. Take care, y'all. See y'all 2 weeks. Sports Bros Podcast. Bye.
Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute. Don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.